What's going on, y'all? I'm back with another quick hit clip with welcome to the franchise here. With this one, I just want to talk a little bit about the Pro Bowl, right? NFL's All Star, their version of their All Star weekend or whatever. We see here with the sports recently and shit, these All Star games, the weekends and everything surrounding it have really fallen the fuck off. They're not entertaining. Nobody really wants to see them. They're definitely not competitive. But I just came to just give a couple of my little takes on what they probably could do to improve that shit. As far as for the Pro Bowl, right? Back in the day, I feel like when you were watching it, it kind of meant something. Like, yeah, it was still good, hard, and on good fun, but it was still competitive. There were guys on both conferences that felt like their conference was better, their division in the conference was better. They had better defensive backs compared to the other defensive back groups or wide receivers, linebackers, quarterbacks, what have you. You could still see a bit of a competitive nature and competitive energy surrounding the Pro Bowl weekend and everything, back in years past. The Pro Bowl was one of those things that would happen right like after the Super Bowl, the week after the Super Bowl. So everybody's season essentially was done. And the best of the best players were really there. No reserves and alternates and shit like that. And motherfuckers is like, man, this nigga don't deserve to be playing this shit. He wasn't the best nigga this year. He wasn't the best. He ain't the best of the best in the league right now. Because I think that was in turn because of it being the last game. Them switching it around, not one of them people who's gonna be on some shit like, nah, they need to switch it back, this, that, da, da. It's something to possibly consider, but I'm not really on that for real. I think it's all right. They did a little bit of the switch. But some things that I would change up, although I know they want to steer it away from players getting hurt. Because you hate to see some shit like that. Like niggas getting hurt in the Pro Bowl. I think it was some years back, it was maybe a couple times. I'm not sure. Can't remember off the top of my head right now. But it was a couple times where some players that played in the Pro Bowl game did get hurt. And it cost them their team for the following season. As they, of course, you make the Pro Bowl, you're a key part of your team making the playoffs and making an impact on the season and shit. So I get it. They want to cut down the injuries, make it lighter on the body and all that shit. And I feel like I caught a little bit of this Pro Bowl thing just to, just to off my curiosity and interest to see it some more. I watched it a little bit last year too, and I thought some of it was cool. This year, I only really like the QB skills challenge part, because once I saw some of the other stuff when I was flipping to it, I was like, what the fuck is this? Like, nah, it ain't got my interest. But the QB skills challenge is cool. They get to show their arm talent, their accuracy and shit. That's fun to watch. The trivia shit, whatever, I'm just like, all right, what the fuck? Like, cool, they answering questions, whatever. Didn't care if it was there or if it wasn't there. But one of the questions I got is like, in my head is like, yo, what happened to the other skills challenge stuff that they used to have? I think that they probably should bring some shit like that back, like how they had back in the day with the quarterbacks, it was a moving target and some other things. You can still keep this one that you got also. I think they used to have some certain shit with the receivers. They used to have I remember like Chad Johnson and Steve Smith, they was competing against each other hard, like how many, they were like running routes or some shit like that, or like catching how many balls in a time frame and shit. Like shit like that used to be fun to watch. And then the strongest man competition with like the linemen and shit. All of that kind of shit used to be kind of fun, from what I could kind of remember. It's a little, fuzzy now remembering some of that stuff unless somebody posts a little clip on it, like Throwback Thursday or some shit. But even that still, you see some stuff like that on the internet. It's like, damn, this shit got me engaged into it. Like, why they don't do this? And, they need to bring those skills challenges back for every position for the players that make the Pro Bowl. From the DBs to the wide receivers, to the old linemen, to the quarterbacks, to the running backs. Like, we want to see some shit like that. And what I was thinking that they should probably do to make this shit better is like, yo, do some more one-on-one type challenges, position battle challenges and everything, like skills challenges and shit. On top of the fact that we've been in an era now, with the social media and shit, that these players, they pop a lot of shit on Twitter and the gram, and or when they go on these platforms for little interviews and like, nah, this nigga ain't a better cornerback than me, or this wide receiver ain't shit, I'll lock him up. And not that we didn't have it back in the day, we still had that, but that's what made it a little bit more competitive, like in game in the season when those players would play each other, or if it was the playoffs, or if it was the Pro Bowl. You know what I'm saying? You back up you get to back up your talk there. So my idea with that was like, yeah, like I think we should see some shit like that, some more one-on-one type position battle, skill challenges, like best on best. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, I get it, you don't want to get players hurt or anything like that, but maybe do these type of position battles and shit, with just uppers only, or maybe just bottoms. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? But y'all niggas talking all that shit to each other all the time throughout the season and making little tweets and shit. Well, then, yeah, show up here at the Pro Bowl. This is what that shit is about. We're going to do best on best, one-on-one. And for any wide receiver talking shit to a corner, any corner talking shit to a wide receiver, that's the fucking weekend. I don't care. You could do flags. I don't care. But one-on-one, line that shit up. Best on best. That's what we want to see. You was told, we saw so-and-so was tweeting that this season. Yeah, I can't wait to see this for Pro Bowl weekend. Let's see if he wins his one-on-one battles. And, you know what I'm saying? Like, there could be little, like, challenges and parameters. Like, hey, you know what I'm saying? First round, you gotta, the wide receiver has to run a route that's 10 yards plus. It can't be no little shit or whatever. That are 10 yards plus. Little challenge is like, okay, run a 25-yard, whatever. And both of them know, the wide receiver and the cornerback know that it's got to be this or whatever, you know what I'm saying, with the certain levels. And then maybe the final level, there is no, you got to run a 25-yard or a 10-yard or 15-yard route. Like, but the cornerback, I'm like, yo, you have to play man press this whole, whatever route he run, whatever route it is, whatever route he run on this last couple rounds here, you got to play man press. And really find out what both of those players is about. Best on fucking best. One-on-one. You talking all that shit. And then with that, I think, you got to kind of find a way to be creative and remix like a Oklahoma-type drill style with these one-on-one skills challenges and shit, for the wide receivers and cornerbacks, for the running backs and linebackers, for the even the offensive linemen maybe, and see how that shit shake out. Like, that shit would be a lot more fun to watch. There's competitive energy in the air. You can see it. It's best on best for real. It's not just, we don't want to do nothing. We playing fucking dodgeball and tug of war and all this other shit. And it's like, I think them one-on-one battles also, I don't see a lot of injuries coming from that. Because it was funny when I was catching some of the Pro Bowl this week, and I counted at least 5 times this nigga Pat McAfee kept talking about, someone's gonna get hurt, or I don't want anyone to get hurt. When they going in the celebration pit, niggas doing backflips and flips and shit, all 5 niggas at one time and all this shit. And it's like, they're so concerned about niggas getting hurt. And it's not like, all right, I get that. But I think even in one-on-ones, you know what I'm saying, that type of stuff with skills challenges, there's ways where it still has football involved and it still is competitive and wants, has the fans wanting to watch that shit and see that shit. It still has that element to it, and they're most likely not going to get hurt. One-on-ones, no pads, flat, like kind of a 7-on-7 camp type environment or some shit. No pad, like most that could happen is a knee joint, but that's why I was saying maybe wear, you know what I'm saying, bottoms if you want to. That's player preference, I guess. You know what I'm saying? And then depending on how physical you allow it to get within some type of rules, maybe uppers, but probably not needed, or something like that. But I think they should do some shit like that. Like, yeah, Oklahoma type vibe to it with the drills, one-on-one, best on best, the best pass rusher on the best offensive tackle, the best D tackle against the best guard and centers, and maybe a big 7-on-7 contest, or it doesn't even have to be 7-on-7, a 5-on-5, where at least outside of the passing part of it, let's say for those Pro Bowl guards and centers, you get one center, one guard, and you get two linebackers, maybe a safety, or three linebackers, and then the running back, the running back and whatever fullback, or just the running back, and you run a play where, you gotta see how many times he can make a dude miss, or something like that. You know what I mean? Similar. I think it's like the way my mind is working low key. Of course, my crazy ideas and opinions, like, it's like they should set up. They should look back into them old skills mini games from like Madden 2002 and shit on PS2, and set up some shit like that somehow, some way. You know what I mean? And create that for the skills challenges for the Pro Bowl weekend, to get your best on best and make it really, really fucking competitive also, because that's what fans want to see. We still want to see some fun, niggas having fun with each other, making plays, all that, say what's up to the fans, sign autographs, all that good shit, shake hands. But we want to see the competitive part too, to make us actually watch. And then you have the big game, you know what I'm saying, which could still be in a flag football format and shit. But, you know what I'm saying, I guess maybe have a few linemen involved at a time sometimes or whatever, but I'm not sure. Or just make it 7-on-7, I think, like how they have it now and stuff. But, they got to change that shit up. I'd rather see a lot more best on best situations for the or skills challenges and mini games and shit, for the Pro Bowl weekend. And like I said, Oklahoma style type drills and shit. Like, I think I seen some where this high school team, I seen a video on Twitter. It's a high school team. I think it was a camp for kids in high school or in college, and it looked crazy. I was like, damn, this is a different version of the Oklahoma drill than I remember. But it wasn't padded or anything like that. But it was kind of like on an angle too. So one of them was on one side of the field, and someone else was on the other. They both had their backs turned. Obviously, the person that knew they was on offense was on offense. The other person that was on defense knew was on defense. At the snap of the ball, or on the hut, or the whistle, or whatever, turn their back, they run to a spot. They run to a middle spot, and then they have to get in their positions to start doing what they do. So the one person on offense starts running their route once they run to that spot, and then the other guy, the defender, starts playing defensive back, and has to obviously defend the receiver based on whatever route they're gonna run, and having the ball thrown to them. So it's like read and react. Like, you're just like, oh shit, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I know I just gotta read and react and get to it and make the play, type shit. Like, it was crazy. Like, they both had their backs turned about, maybe 8 to 10 yards away from each other. They had to run to a center spot or whatever. They turn around, run to a center spot, and then they start just doing what they do, playing defense or running their route. Like, some shit like that will kind of be entertaining as fuck to watch, with the best players, best on best and shit. Or you just line them up with each other and, have them talk shit to each other, this, that, whatever. Like, little parameters, get their points, whatever. I think that shit would be really, really fun to watch. And they gotta consider some new changes to change up this Pro Bowl shit, because it's officially dead. It's clipped. That shit seriously fell off, and it is clipped. It's over for that shit. And one of the things is too, I get it, I don't know what happened with why they don't go to Hawaii anymore. I'll have to look up on that and see what happened, why they don't go to Hawaii anymore or some shit. Now it's in Orlando, but I think you gotta scrap that shit with Orlando. If it's gonna be in Florida, it's gotta be Miami. And I think it should be similar to how the NBA All-Star Game is. Do different cities and different areas, switch it up. Get the players a little bit excited about where they're going to be going now, because this is like the start of their fucking vacation time. The season's over. Yo, we doing Miami this year. We doing Vegas this year. You know what I'm saying? We doing the Ram Stadium this year. We doing Jerry's World this year. You know what I'm saying? Or if they want to keep spreading that shit where they're like, yo, they trying to spread the NFL and football to other countries and other cultures and shit, do that shit for the Pro Bowl. Yo, we going to Brazil for the Pro Bowl. Although how it sounded in the beginning of the year with that first game, the players didn't like the vibes around going there and shit. But just the thought, like, yo, we doing, you know what I'm saying? We doing the Pro Bowl, you know, whatever, in Germany or London. I don't know how fun that would be to see out there some shit, but little shit like that, I think, is what they should do. We doing the Pro Bowl in Tokyo or whatever. I'm hearing that in Japan, you know, flag football is starting to get really popular now and shit, or they're bringing some NFL type ambassadors over there to just educate them about the game and shit. You know, do shit like that for the Pro Bowl. Have them niggas be happy to be like, yo, we going somewhere else different, something crazy. It's about to be fun. And I get that it's gonna be a little bit harder or annoying for the fans, you know, in the U.S. I get that. So maybe not do that for the Pro Bowl. Just a little crazy thought. But, you know, if you still want to keep it in the country or whatever, keep it national, you got to switch up them cities every single time. Or if you just want to do one city, make it, like I said, one of them fun-ass cities that players love to be at and shit. Switch that shit from being in Orlando every year to just Vegas. Vegas got a team now in the NFL. And Vegas, on top of the fact that, you know, with the sports betting shit, open up all these crazy doors for everybody, you might as well. And might as well allow them to do some shit. See what type of shit, what type of little bets they could make out of that shit. In Vegas, the home of all that shit. You know, no more Orlando. Like, either Miami or Vegas. Or do all the different cities. Like, could you imagine a Pro Bowl taking place in New York in the summertime or some shit like that? Or like, well, not, it wouldn't be the summertime at this point. I'm bugging. But that shit would be pretty cool, you know what I'm saying? Or like, yeah, you ain't gonna have them niggas play outside. You're gonna have them play in their indoor facilities, obviously. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you don't want to do that, I'm gonna say switch it from being in Orlando to just put it in Vegas every year now. Put that shit in fucking Vegas. And if you don't want it to be Vegas, then put that shit in Miami. You know what I mean? To me, that sounds good. That's what makes sense. Because there's a lot of hoopla and a lot of, you know what I'm saying? Hoopla. I can't believe I fucking use that word. But there's a lot of excitement and energy and vibes and shit like that around those cities. And for a game like that, you know, it's just an all-star football game and shit. And even still, it's not gonna make a lot of people still want to watch, but it'll make some of those other people still want to watch and shit, or be around it. And then when you add all the other things I was saying before, with some one-on-one, best-on-best, competitive energy in there and shit too, you know, or instead of this trivia shit, these little goofy-ass questions and things they want to do in between, you know, keep the Madden shit. That shit is cool. Keep that. That's interesting. That's an interesting aspect of it. But like, bringing like, yeah, so you said on this tweet, week 7, that, you know what I'm saying, Michael Parsons was not going to do this, So we about to find out right now. So what you got to say about that? Like, do some little shit like that. Bring some energy to this shit. You know what I mean? These niggas are the ultimate competitors. If you're not bringing competitive vibes, or like, you know what I'm saying, bragging right type vibes, something at stake to them, they're not going to be motivated to just be out there doing whatever the fuck and just saying whatever the fuck, man. And we as fans too, we like competition. That's what the fuck we want to see. We like competition and excitement, not just some little goofy shit and all that. You know what I mean? So that's just what I gotta say about that on fixing. You know, just quick little thoughts on what they could possibly do to fix the Pro Bowl and everything like that. So that's gonna do it for me right quick on this one. Just a quick hit clip. Welcome to the franchise. Y'all out there, be easy.